Now I have to invite and request Dr. Ramesh Chand to come and give his address. Dr. Ramesh Chand is member at NITI Aayog. As you know, NITI Aayog is the Prime Minister's think tank. A member means that he is the big boy in many, many ways. In fact, he's rank of a minister in the government of India. In fact, Paramji used to be the CEO for NITI Aayog at one point in time. He's sitting with us. Dr. Chand, without further ado, he's going to talk about issues pertaining to agriculture and so on and so forth. Over to you, sir.
Friends, you will agree with me that tone for today's discussion on Idea for India has already been very nicely set. Generally, for the discussion of this kind, you find that agriculture is not a very fascinating issue, but still I will share with you why I feel agriculture is important, why India feel agriculture is important in the story of rising India. I would like to begin by sharing with you, though you may be knowing, that Government of India and our Prime Minister now has set two clear goals before the nation. One goal is that by 2047, when we complete 100 years of independence from colonial rule, India becomes Viksit Bharat. India becomes developed nation. That is one goal. Prime Minister never mentioned this goal without mentioning the second goal, which is that growth is easier, but second part is more difficult. That is Sabka Vikas, prosperity for all. That becoming developed country doesn't mean that because of a few corporate, because of manufacturing or some services, India will grow. The idea of Viksit Bharat is twofold, that per capita income reaches the level of developed country, our economy reaches 30 trillion US dollars, but at the same time it brings prosperity for all. When we talk of prosperity for all, then the sectors like agriculture, the sectors like small scale industry, they become very, very important, because if you look at development path of India, it has defied some of the standard trends which have been seen in the Western economy, that when you move along, share of agriculture decline like this, employment in agriculture decline like this. Those kind of things have not been happening in India, nor we expect them to happen the way it is visualized by Western economic thought, nor even it has happened to that extent in China. Like many people talk that when economy grows, the farm size become bigger and bigger. The big fish eat small fish. So that kind of thing didn't happen in Japan. That kind of thing did not happen in China. That kind of thing is not likely to happen in India. Unlike many countries in southern America, even South Africa, those countries followed Western model. But Asian model emerged as a totally different model. I think it is because of that even after 7 decades of planned development, you find that agriculture still remains the largest sector of economy. Manufacturing much lower than agriculture. That difference is still small in terms of share of output, but if you look at employment, then you find that manufacturing is less than 1/4 of the kind of livelihood that is offered by agriculture. And prosperity for people comes only when there is employment. It doesn't come that economy is growing, but for people that employment is not there. So these numbers speaks of importance of agriculture, that over time you just will see that employment in agriculture declined at a very, very slow rate. Then we all know that a country like India with 140 billion population, which will increase to 165 billion, cannot ignore food and nutrition security. It is not Singapore, it's not Saudi Arabia that it can import food from other country. So it has to see that we meet our food and nutrition requirement largely from our own production. That factor also remain. Inclusive development, agriculture, very, very important. And of late, this realization is also happening that sustainability goal, environmental goal, goal of climate change will be almost impossible to achieve if we do not pay attention to agriculture, if we do not change the way we are doing agriculture, because 80 to 90% water used in agriculture, 46% land in India is under agriculture, 13% greenhouse gases, they come from agriculture. So when we look at role of agriculture in meeting aspiration of people, how agriculture will move during this period which we call Amrit Kal, we need to look at past experience, that how we have done in the past. Can we pick up some lessons from the past to ensure that agriculture move the way we want it to move in future? And that every department is doing, because making India Viksit Bharat is not only the goal announced by Prime Minister. There is a very, very serious follow-up. For every sector, action plan, work plan, strategy, vision is being prepared by group of secretaries for every sector. I am involved with agriculture, but for others also, manufacturing, even services. So everybody is busy. So it's not that only slogan is made and it is left. So seriously, it is being pursued. So this is just to show that if you look at the past, how agriculture performed, you will find that peak have moved up, troughs have also moved up. So overall, it is a rising kind of stories, and we have lesson from each which can be used in different situations. Different states of India are in different level of development of agriculture. So whenever you find that acceleration, deceleration happen, there was a strong reason behind it. There was a strong policy action behind it. I can't go into those details, but they are all very useful in addressing the present situation. So given this situation, you can just look at that in terms of what is the role of agriculture in the present growth rate. Still you find that it comes at number 3, manufacturing and some of the services. Then agriculture share in the present growth is 0.70 percentage point. So that is the kind of growth with which agriculture is increasing. We are making lot of progress on food front. Despite that, India's nutritional indicators are not very encouraging, but there are so many reasons behind it. I've done a separate paper on that, and but I said there is that even if per capita production of India increased to double, which is likely to happen in next 25 or 30 years, the nutrition status of India will not improve much, because dietary preferences of Indian are so deeply rooted in their culture that you just find that meat share in the total food remain less than 5%, even though meat production is increasing and we are exporting a lot of meat. So that is another thing. But I just wanted to say that what we achieved in per capita food production in 50 years, since 51, we achieved in next 25 years. And this 50% achievement will be achieved in next 20 years. So that's the way we are going ahead, composition of agriculture, etc., changing, no time to again go into details. It is very important to share with you what is the experience of states. In some of our major states, growth rate of agriculture is not only high, it is higher than non-agriculture sectors. Like you look at Andhra Pradesh, growth rate 8%. You look at Madhya Pradesh, growth rate, I think, again, 8%. And again, there are important lesson behind it that today, Andhra Pradesh has same productivity per hectare as Punjab. If you look at crop sector, the growth rate of Andhra Pradesh is 10 times that of Punjab. Punjab crop sector growing at 0.45, Andhra crop sector at 4.5. Simple reason that Punjab is stuck to rice and wheat, whose yield has plateaued, but Andhra is diversifying toward high-value crops, whose productivity is 4 to 5 times that of cereals. So that's why you find that it is happening. So a lot of things in state happening, and in some of the state, agriculture is the engine of growth, not manufacturing. So that is another experience that we have, and still these are some of the indicators which shows the future scope. This story is very, very important that till 95, when India liberalized in a big way, share of Indian agriculture in global GDP was not rising. It declined from 8.4% to 7.4%. But after we liberalized and opened up, share of agriculture doubled between 95 and like that. We did not succeed in manufacturing or any other sector to this extent, that though we never fixed this target, but it happened, that our agriculture growth was much higher than what was the growth of world agriculture, and still our productivity level in many areas is much lower than what is world average, which speaks of that in some area India can certainly become global power. Like in rice, we are already global power. 40% of rice export in the world comes from India alone. So like that, if you look at total GDP, our share increased at a faster rate, but still it is 3.4. In agriculture, 13.5. So sometime I used to say in high-level meeting that if we make up our mind, it is much easier to become global power in food than to become global power in overall manufacturing or other kind of thing. But these achievements, they have come with the challenge. Again, I would just now be very selective in sharing with you my views. One is employment, about which Christian also spoke in detail. Lot of interesting changes are happening. We have credible, reliable data now for last 6 years. Periodic labor force survey data is available. It reveals a lot about what is happening and what are the challenges. You just find that the labor force in India is increasing at 3.92%. So you can imagine the kind of demographic transition through which India is passing. And workforce is rising at 4.5%, which is higher than what is the growth rate in labor force. So many people may be rising in India, unemployment is rising, etc. It is rubbish. The fact says that employment is rising faster than labor force, even though labor force growth is so high. But despite that, you find that workforce is increasing faster. Simply, it means that unemployment is declining. But in last 6 years, share of agriculture in employment has increased. I feel that this need to be seen bit carefully, because if you look at the growth rate in employment in manufacturing, it is 3.28%, which is quite decent, which is not small. Manufacturing growth, job growth never happened like this in the past. Despite that, the share of manufacturing in the employment is declining because workforce increase was very high, and many people have gone into agriculture. The biggest change which is happening in Indian labor market is really rise of Nari Shakti, that women workforce participation rate has, labor force participation rate increased from 23% to 37%. These are challenges in case of agriculture, but this slide, again, important messages. In India, we still have some farmer group. We exchange we frequently have dialogue with them, but so far not succeeded in convincing them. This curve shows that what is the growth rate in different segment of agriculture. And this growth rate is inversely related to the kind of support that government is giving to a segment of agriculture. Highest support is for rice and wheat. There is assured procurement by government. In many states, free electricity, which is the main input for rice, lot of input subsidies for rice and wheat, and highest output support for rice and wheat. Growth rate is minimum. There is very little intervention in fishery. Growth rate is close to, growth rate is more than 8%. Then you just find livestock. Other than cooperative, there are no subsidies, there is no price support, growth rate is 5%. Then fruit and vegetable. This is another message that I sometime in India used to say, we have Sarkari Utpad and Bajari Utpad. So today Bajari Utpadan is rising at a much faster rate than Sarkari Utpadan. So Sarkari Utpadan, I take extreme position that it is stifling the growth because it is checking the diversification toward high value crops. So this is another, I would say, fiscal burden is rising in agriculture. These are the challenges there. Now, coming to the future growth role of agriculture in the future growth story of agriculture, I have written about it in my paper, especially about this Arthur Lewis hypothesis. I find that Arthur Lewis hypothesis remained very less relevant in case of India, especially in case of employment. Labor did not shift from agriculture to non-agriculture. Even in China, agriculture share in GDP is 7-8%, but employment is still 20%. So this gap remained, but even in the world, after global financial crisis around 2006, the manufacturing and services sector could not come to the normal level of growth. Because of that, you just find that share of agriculture between 2006 and 2020, this is in global GDP, it has increased by more than 30%, from 3.2 to 4.3. So even at global level, that relevance of Arthur Lewis hypothesis, you just find that things are happening totally in the opposite way, and we are factoring in this kind of things. We have also worked out what kind of role agriculture will play in future. So our calculations are that in the past, in recent decade, India growth rate is 4%. That is highest in the world among the major countries. And we take really great pride that though we deliberately did not attempt, but that is one sector where we have surpassed China in the last 10 years. That growth rate is more than what is growth rate of agriculture in China. So with that confidence, we have worked out a scenario that agriculture growth in future can be even higher than what is there in the past 10 years. From 4%, we can go to 5%, but that will require balancing between other kind of concern, sustainability concern, environmental concern. So there are different paths that there is a possibility that without any threat to food security, India can go for natural farming, it can go for organic farming, it can pay more attention to environmental kind of things without paying attention, without worrying about food security. India can take that yield penalty because now we are entering into to a surplus stage. But if India choose to chase 5% growth rate in agriculture, then we have to find market for 25 to 30% incremental output outside India. That will not be absorbed within the country. For that, we need competitiveness and things like that. But we feel that future demand for agriculture will be different than what it was in the past. There is a lot of interest among people to have bios, to replace cosmetics, to replace medicine, to have different kind of health solution based on plant-based kind of things. So we feel that globally the demand for food will be buoyant, and if India is interested, it can easily explore, because there is a fascination for the kind of production which happens in India. And the biggest reason for emphasis on agriculture is employment. That even if manufacturing grows at a rapid rate, we have seen that it is giving only 3% growth in employment, which is not sufficient for the country which is passing through a demographic transition. If that was not the case, then that growth in employment was very good. So we are looking at agriculture slightly differently, that as a source of employment, which gives the inclusive growth, as a source of renewed kind of nutrition, as a source for meeting people's shift in demand toward bios, plant-based products everywhere. And we expect agriculture to play a very significant role in India's future growth story, as it has done in the past. Thank you.